Okay, good morning students. Welcome to the new topic, that is steam nozzles. The new chapter we'll discuss today, steam nozzles. So first we'll discuss the definition of the nozzle. So nozzle is a device of varying cross-sectional area in which the pressure energy of the fluid is converted to kinetic energy of the fluid. So that device is called nozzle. So nozzle is a device of varying cross-sectional area in which the pressure energy of the fluid is converted into kinetic energy. What is kinetic energy? Kinetic energy is nothing but half mv square. So m is equal to 1. So indirectly kinetic energy is nothing but increasing the velocity. It depends on velocity. So pressure energy is converted into velocity. That is, device name is called nozzle. So now we will consider with one diagram. So here this is the diagram we will discuss. So first we will draw one varying cross-sectional area. So cross-sectional area may be decreasing or cross-sectional may be increasing. So now I will take one component of decreasing cross-sectional area like this. So this I will call it as inlet, section number 1, and this one I will call it as outlet, section number 2. So this is a nozzle. Okay, so what type of nozzle we discuss later in the next topic. So 1, 2. So m1 is mass of the fluid, that is steam, is passing through the nozzle here, and m2 is mass of the fluid which is coming outside. Means m1 and m2, this mass flow rate of steam through the nozzle. h1 is enthalpy of the steam which is passing through the nozzle, and similarly pressure is high pressure and low velocity. So when there is a high pressure, obviously velocity will be low. So these are the parameters of the steam at the inlet. Similarly h2 is enthalpy of the steam at the outlet. Okay, now this high pressure and low velocity steam when passes through the nozzle, so high pressure will be converted into high velocity or high kinetic energy. That is the definition of this. So pressure energy of the fluid is converted into kinetic energy. Pressure is high pressure. High pressure energy will be converted into high velocity. Low velocity will become high velocity. High pressure will become low pressure. Okay, this is the definition of a steam nozzle. So once again we will discuss. So nozzle is a device of varying cross-sectional area in which the pressure energy of the fluid, here at the inlet of the nozzle, the pressure of the fluid steam is high. This high pressure when passes through the nozzle, the high pressure will become high velocity and it will become low pressure at the outlet. So entire pressure energy will be converted into kinetic energy, that is velocity. Okay, so usually the nozzle is insulated so that heat exchange between the nozzle and the surrounding is 0. Okay, so what type of process it is? The nozzle is insulated, that is adiabatic. So through the nozzle expansion process takes place. So what is the name of the expansion? Is reversible adiabatic expansion process. So they may ask you the process in the nozzle is, what is the name of the process? That is reversible adiabatic expansion process. So reversible adiabatic expansion is also called isentropic process. That is, entropy remains constant. Entropy is equal to constant. If the friction is neglected, Friction is nothing but the friction between the wall and the steam. Assume that the steam is flowing like this in the nozzle. Okay, if the friction between the steam and the surface of the nozzle, if you neglect it, then it will be reversible adiabatic. Okay, if you are considering the friction, then it is not a reversible process, because friction, if you consider, it will become irreversible. Then if you consider the friction, then it is irreversible adiabatic expansion process, then it will not be isentropic. So I will make it clear. When you write on reversible adiabatic, it is ideal case, ideal process, that is friction is neglected. Friction is neglected. So if you consider the friction between the steam and the surface of the nozzle, inside surface of the nozzle, then friction factor rises. So due to friction, there will be heat will be generated. That we will discuss the effect of friction in the nozzle later. So when you consider the friction, it is not a reversible process, it will become irreversible process. So it is not isentropic, however, only it is an adiabatic process, but it is expansion process. Okay, now applications of nozzle. So what are the different applications of nozzle, where the nozzles are used? Okay, applications of nozzles. Okay. So in applications of nozzles, the nozzles will be used in steam turbines. The nozzles will be used in steam turbines, and it will be used in gas turbines, and it will be used in fuel injection systems. We will discuss one by one. We will discuss with examples also. Fuel injection system, for example, if you consider a diesel engine, so it will be inlet valve, exhaust valve. So if you consider diesel engine, there will be a fuel injector. Okay, so at the tip of the fuel injector FI, so at the tip of the fuel injector, a nozzle is attached. That nozzle converts high pressure energy of the diesel is converted into velocity, that is high velocity, high kinetic energy. So that high kinetic energy velocity, again atomization takes place inside the combustion chamber. Okay, that is one type of fuel injection systems. And you might have seen in spray painting nowadays, for painting automobiles body, you are spraying that the tip of the sprayer has nozzle, that is spray painting. And you might have seen in sprinkling of water in the gardens, so that is all nozzles are used. But in industry, the main applications is in the steam turbine and in the gas turbines. Now where the steam turbines will be used? Obviously steam turbines are used in steam power plant, that is vapor power cycle. So in the last chapter we discussed the vapor power cycle. So for glancing, I have taken one diagram here. This is a steam turbine power plant. Okay, so the steam turbine plant, we consider the boiler, and this is steam turbine. So boiler produces high pressure, high temperature, superheated steam. Okay, so this high pressure, high temperature, superheated steam, when it passes to the steam turbine, the turbine has some blades internal inside. Okay, so when the steam is passed before to the turbine blades, first it will pass to the nozzle. Here I have shown some nozzles here, you can see here are the nozzles. Okay, so the superheated steam, that is high pressure, high temperature, superheated steam, first enters the nozzle. Okay, so here I have taken one nozzle, just I have taken the zoom area, I have enlarged the area. So here the superheated high pressure and low velocity steam enters the nozzle. That high pressure steam will be converted into high velocity. That high velocity steam, when hits the blade, the turbine rotates and the shaft starts rotating, and this shaft converted to high pressure energy of the steam will be converted into mechanical energy. That mechanical energy is transferred to generator. Generator converts mechanical energy to electrical energy. This is how in the steam turbines the nozzles are used. So So nozzles used for converting high pressure energy of the steam is converted into high velocity. That high velocity steam hits the blades of the turbine starts rotating. Then mechanical energy will be converted and mechanical energy will be produced. That mechanical energy is transferred to generator. Generator will produce mechanical energy to electrical energy. So this is one application of nozzles in the steam turbine. For example, if the working fluid is gas instead of steam, here it is steam is coming, understood? So it is steam turbine. If the working fluid is gas turbine power plant. So compressor produces high pressure air, and this high pressure air pass to the combustion chamber. Simultaneously we will add the fuel here, and this fuel mixed with high pressure gas, the combustion takes place. The combustion gases are produced. These high pressure gases so pass to the gas turbine. Before enters to the gas turbine, again it will pass to nozzles. Okay, so nozzles, again some varying cross sectional area like this. Okay, so this high pressure gases passes through the nozzle. So nozzle converts high pressure gases to high velocity. This high velocity gases hits the turbine's blades, and blade starts rotating, the shaft starts rotating. So this shaft produces mechanical energy, and this mechanical energy is transferred to generator. Generator converts mechanical energy to electrical energy. So this is the applications of nozzles in different areas. So if they ask in the exam what are the applications of nozzles, we explain these two, and the remaining one fuel injection systems, that is inside the diesel engine we have used fuel injection systems, and spray painting, and the sprinkling of water in the gardens, and in nowadays you can see in washing centers, that is car washing and bike washing centers, at the tip of the pipe they used the nozzles. Those nozzles converts high pressure energy of water into high velocity. That high velocity water hits the surface, dust surfaces, and remove all the dust particles. So this is one applications of nozzles. The next topic is we will discuss types of nozzles. It is an important topic. Types of nozzles. How many types of nozzles are there now? There are three types of nozzles. How many types? Three types. One is convergent nozzle. Okay. Divergent nozzle. And the third one is convergent divergent nozzle. It is combination of both convergent and divergent nozzle. The first we will discuss the convergent nozzle. So convergent nozzle is a device of decreasing cross-sectional area. So first we will discuss the first one, convergent. So convergent nozzle is a device of decreasing cross-sectional area. Okay, the cross-sectional area is decreasing from inlet to the exit, and this is the direction of the steam which is flowing through the nozzle. So convergent nozzle is a device which is decreasing cross-sectional area and which converts high pressure energy of the steam into high velocity. Same what we discussed first topic, high velocity, and this will be high pressure. Okay, so at inlet the pressure energy of the steam is high pressure. Here's high pressure steam. Okay, here pressure is decreases, and this pressure decreases, energy will be converted into velocity. Velocity increases. Okay, we studied the one law of conservation of energy. Energy neither be created nor be destroyed, but one form of energy will be converted into another form. Here energy of steam, that is high pressure energy, is converted into high velocity of steam. This is convergent nozzle. So this is one type of convergent nozzle. And dear students, remember, in the nozzle, the surface of the nozzle will be always insulated. The heat exchange from system to the surrounding is zero because it is adiabatic process. Q is equal to 0. Okay, and from inlet, high pressure steam, and at the outlet it will be converted into high velocity. They may ask you, what about the pressure? When high pressure is there, velocity will be less velocity, and this high pressure, less velocity steam and passes through the turbine, it will convert into high velocity of and low pressure. Doesn't mean the pressure is zero, pressure will be there, but it will be low pressure steam. And second type of nozzle is divergent nozzle. Second one is divergent nozzle. So divergent nozzle is a device which has increasing cross-sectional area. So cross-sectional area is increasing. Again, it converts high pressure energy to high velocity. So here at the inlet, the high pressure will be there, high pressure and low velocity steam, because this chapter is steam nozzles. If the working fluid is gas, then it is gas nozzles. If it is water, water nozzles. Okay, this high pressure and low velocity steam enters or passes through the nozzle. Okay, then at the outlet of the nozzle, that is section 2.2, it will become high velocity and low pressure. Low pressure. You can ask a question, sir, here the area is decreasing, but the function or conversion of energy is high pressure to low pressure, that is low velocity to high velocity. Another way, here the area of the cross section is increasing, but the working is same. Here high pressure and low velocity steam is converted into high velocity and low pressure steam. Okay, what is the fundamental reason behind it? And yes, there is one parameter will come, that is Mach number, that is M. Mach number is less than 1 in the convergent nozzle, and Mach number will be more than 1 in the divergent nozzle. So in the next topic we will discuss what is Mach number. Okay, so Mach number, if it is less than 1, it is called subsonic flow. Subsonic flow. If the Mach number is greater than 1, what we will call it as? Yes, supersonic flow. It is called supersonic flow. In the next topic we will discuss the definition of Mach number and all. Okay, so these are the two types of turbine nozzles, sorry. And as I told you again, the nozzles are insulated. Here the heat interaction between system and the surrounding is zero on the both the side. Okay, if it is steam turbine, it will be insulated. If it is gas turbine, then it will be insulated. If it is the cold fluid is flowing through the nozzle, then is no question of making insulated at the boundary. Okay, if the hard fluid, half fluid, high temperature and high pressure fluids are passing through the nozzle, then that nozzle will be insulated. The third type of nozzle is convergent divergent nozzle. So convergent divergent, as the name indicates, it is combination of both 1 and 2. So in the convergent divergent nozzle, so you have to be careful that the length of the convergent should be less, okay, and the length of the divergent nozzle should be more. You have to draw the sketch in this way. This is convergent nozzle 1 to 2 convergent, and this is divergent nozzle, the second part. So between convergent and divergent nozzle, there is a small portion of the nozzle that is called throat, T-H-R-O-A-T, throat. What is throat? Throat is a small portion of the convergent divergent nozzle. So the pressure measured at the throat is called critical pressure. Remember, very important term. So what is critical pressure? So critical pressure is the pressure measured at the small portion of the nozzle, that is called throat. So in the convergent divergent nozzle, there are three inlets will come. One, this is section 1, then I will call it as inlet. Section 2, that is throat portion, and section 3 is exit of the nozzle. Okay, in the previous these two, the section 2 has become exit. Here is also section 2 has become exit, but here it is section 3 will become exit. So again I will take high pressure, low velocity, steam passes first to convergent nozzle, and this high pressure steam will be converted, pressure will be decreases and velocity increases. So high pressure steam will become low pressure steam at the section number 2, and it will become high velocity but low pressure steam. Okay, now here from point number 2 to 3, this already in the divergent portion, the velocity at point number 2 is already high velocity. Okay, high velocity is entering into the nozzle. So understood? Again, nozzle is a device which converts from pressure energy to velocity. Velocity is already more in the section number 2. So again there is a rapid increase in the velocity. That is called, it is supersonic. M is greater than 1. Why I have written M is greater than 1? That is supersonic flow. Mach number is greater than 1 in the divergent nozzle. The reason is at inlet of the section 2, the velocity of the steam is high velocity, pressure is low. Understood? Again this 2 to 3, from section number 2 to section number 3, again it is acting like a nozzle. The nozzle increases the velocity of the steam, so it will become high velocity steam, then it comes outside the nozzle. That is point number 3. So from 1 to 3 is a total expansion of the steam in the convergent and divergent nozzle. H1 is enthalpy at section 1, H2 is the enthalpy at section 2, and H3 is the enthalpy at section number 3. Similarly, P1 is the pressure at section 1, P2 is the pressure at section 3, and P3 is the pressure at section 3. Okay. Similarly, and we assume that mass of fluid entering to the nozzle is equal to mass of fluid, that is steam, coming outside. M1 dot is equal to M2 dot. What does it mean is there is no conservation of mass. Okay, mass is not going any outside the nozzle through any passage, only it is entering in the inlet and coming outside. M1 is equal to M2, and it is obviously the both nozzles are insulated, so it will be with some adiabatic layer. So Q is equal to 0. Heat is not rejected from nozzle to the surrounding. Okay, and this is throat. Okay, these are the three types of nozzles. Okay, one is convergent nozzle, divergent nozzle, convergent divergent nozzle. Third one, in convergent nozzle, the area of cross sectional is gradually decreasing. Okay, at the inlet of the nozzle, the high pressure steam will be there and low velocity, and this high pressure will be converted into high velocity. Okay, and in the convergent nozzle, the Mach number is less than 1. The type of flow of steam inside the convergent nozzle is subsonic flow. Okay, and here one more point you need to remember. And dear students, the basic principle of a fluid flow is always the flow of fluid takes place from high pressure to low pressure. Okay, So high pressure to low pressure. Here at inlet pressure is more and outlet pressure is less, so the fluid flow takes place easily. Okay, so one more point you write in the exam is, so in the convergent nozzle, the pressure at the section 2, that is smallest area between 1 and 2, if you compare 1 and 2, which one is a small area? Section 2 is a small area. Here from here to here is small area. Section 1 is bigger area. So the pressure at the small portion area is called, that is critical pressure. Here the pressure at section 2 is equal to or less than the pressure at section 1, then only the fluid flow takes place, otherwise no. Usually the fundamentals is always the fluid flow takes place from high pressure to low pressure. That is the reason I will write here critical pressure, that is at point number 2, is equal to or less than pressure at point number 1. Critical pressure is less than or equal to pressure at section 1. Okay, so but here if you consider the divergent nozzle, here which one is the critical pressure? The pressure measured at the small portion of the nozzle is called critical pressure. So obviously critical pressure is here. Now this is not a critical pressure, this is a critical pressure. So critical pressure should be more or less. In this case the fluid is flowing from 1 to 2. Understood? If the pressure at point number 1, if it is more, then only the fluid flow from one region to another region, from inlet to outlet. So here critical pressure is more than the pressure at section 2. This is called back pressure. Okay, you remember the word back pressure. I will write here back pressure. Here I will write critical pressure is greater than the back pressure. For example, if the pressure at the section 1, that is critical pressure, if it is low, then the fluid flow takes reverse. Instead of going to section number 2, it will come in the same direction, because always the fluid flow takes place from high pressure to low pressure. Understood? But here critical pressure is here. If the critical pressure is more, the fluid will flow from section 2 to section 1. Understood? So the critical pressure should be less. So section number 2, the pressure is less. Here the section number 1, pressure is more. Okay, here in the convergent divergent nozzle, here section 1 it is high pressure, and section 2 high velocity, and section 3 the velocity at section 3 still more greater than 2, because it is low pressure. Here it is still less pressure. Understood? The pressure at point number 3 is much lesser or lesser than section number 2. Then only the fluid flow from section 1 to 2, 2 to 3. So okay, so these are the 3 types of nozzles. Okay, now we will mention the velocity also. Here at section number 1, velocity is v1, section number 2, velocity is v2, section number 3, velocity is v3. And dear students, what will write? v1 is less than v2, v2 is less than v3, because velocity gradually it is increasing between 1 to 3. Similarly, if you write for pressure, p1 is more because it high pressure at the inlet. Again p2 is low than p3. p3 is the pressure at the section number 2. It is less pressure compared to 1 and 2. And similarly, enthalpy h1 at inlet is much greater than compared to h2, and it is again greater than h3. Okay, so these are the 3 parameters. And here in the divergent nozzle, I will write h1 is greater than h2, p1 is greater than p2, but velocity v2 is greater than v1. Velocity at outlet of the nozzle is more, kinetic energy is more at the outlet of the nozzle. and here also same thing I will write. H1 is greater than H2, H1 is greater than H2, and P1 is greater than P2, but velocity V2 is greater than V1. Okay, so these are the three types of nozzles in the syllabus. Now we'll discuss what is Mach number, because in these three types we have written Mach number. So what is Mach number is, Mach number will be represented with the letter M. Okay, so Mach number is defined as the ratio of velocity of fluid in a nozzle. Fluid, it may be steam or it may be gas, whatever may be. Okay, ratio of velocity of fluid in a nozzle to the velocity of sound in the same medium. Same medium means same nozzle. If you consider any one nozzle like this, and here steam is flowing through the nozzle, if you are writing the Mach number for this nozzle is defined as a ratio of velocity of this fluid, that is steam, in this nozzle to the ratio velocity of sound. You replace the steam with some sound, okay, in the same nozzle, then that is Mach number. Okay, so Mach number, if it is equal to 1, for example, if M is equal to 1, what does it mean? Velocity of fluid in the nozzle, that is velocity of steam and velocity of sound, if both are same, then you will get 1. So this flow is called sonic flow. If M is less than 1, then it is called subsonic flow. If M is greater than 1, it is supersonic flow. Okay, when the value of M will be greater than 1, here when velocity of the particular fluid in the nozzle, if it is more than velocity of sound, then M value will be more. If the numerator is more, then the left hand side M will be more. So velocity of fluid, that is steam or gas or water, whatever may be, if it is more than the velocity of sound, then Mach number will be greater than 1, then it will called supersonic flow. But it's high velocity, the velocity of the fluid is more than sound velocity, so it is called super. Okay, so if the velocity of the fluid, if it is less than the velocity of sound, then it is called subsonic flow. The fluid is moving with some less velocity, sound velocity is more, so it is subsonic flow. If both are same, then it is called sonic flow. So in the exam, if they ask explain different types of nozzles, so these are the three nozzles you have to explain, and don't forget to mention the Mach number and one more point related to critical pressure. So these are the two important points you must explain in the exam. Okay, so next topic is, we will draw the HS diagram, that is enthalpy versus entropy diagram. So to calculate H1 and H2, and dear students, please note on here in the nozzle we have written here H1 is the enthalpy at inlet, H2 is the enthalpy at middle, that is at throat, and S3 is the enthalpy at exit of the nozzle. So to calculate enthalpy H1, H2 and H3, in the previous chapter, in the vapor power cycle, we have used steam tables. So using steam tables at the desired pressure and temperature, we have taken the enthalpies from the steam table. Here also you can use the steam table and note down the values of H1, at H2, H3 at a particular pressure. The pressure values will be given in the numericals. And there is other method you can solve the numericals, is using the Mollier chart. that is Mollier diagram. Mollier diagram is HS diagram, that is called Mollier diagram. Directly you can take the value of H1, H2, H3, without referring the steam table book. Okay, so to solve the numericals, this Mollier diagram, Mollier chart will be used. Okay, now if you consider a convergent divergent nozzle here, now I will explain how to draw curve in the Mollier diagram and how the process will looks in the Mollier diagram for convergent nozzle. You can draw for divergent, for convergent, divergent, as well as both, combination of both. I will draw for this third type of nozzle. It will become easy for you for first and second. And clearly I said to you that in the nozzle, what type of process it is? It is expansion takes place. Okay, the fluid expansion takes place. What type of expansion it is? Reversible adiabatic expansion process. So reversible adiabatic expansion is also called isentropic process if you consider friction is zero or neglected. If you consider the friction between the fluid and inside surface of the nozzle, then it will become an only adiabatic process, adiabatic expansion process. It is not isentropic, it is only adiabatic. Now to draw the expansion process of this convergent divergent nozzle in the Mollier diagram, how it looks is, okay, so Mollier diagram, or it is also called HS diagram. Okay, and here students, HS diagram, first enthalpy H will be represented on vertical line and entropy S will be represented on horizontal line. That is S, this is H. So in the previous you have to refer TS diagram. Okay, in the TS diagram, what you have taken, temperature versus entropy. This is saturated liquid line, saturated vapor line. Both will meet at particular point, that is critical point. Correct or not? If any property measured on the saturated vapor line will be represented with suffix G. For example, enthalpy is measured on saturated vapor line, that is SG. If you have taken entropy, SG. Understood? And the value of X, that is dryness fraction or quality of steam. If the value of X is on vapor line, that is X is equal to 1. Correct or not? And similarly, when you are taking any values on this saturated liquid line, it is pure like water, there is no percentage of steam. So here if you are measuring enthalpy of fluid, that is SF, and SF you have taken. What is the value of X on this line? That is X is equal to 0. Understood? Because there is no percentage of steam, purely it is water. So X is nothing but percentage of steam indirectly. So if you write 1 or 100%. Okay. Now similarly, same process will be represented in HS diagram, that is Mollier diagram. Okay. So in the Mollier diagram, you have to draw one line, that is one curve, that is called dry line or dry saturated line. Okay, this is dry saturated line, and here there is no saturated liquid line. Okay, if the area below this dry saturated line, this dry saturated, all or this is wet region, it is liquid region. Okay, and the area above this curve, dry saturated line, this is our superheated region. Okay, but here in the TS diagram, what you have taken, the area on the right hand side of dry saturated line or vapor line is superheated region. This region you have taken superheated, and between these two curves we have taken, it is a mixture of both liquid and steam mixture region. And left side of this curve, what you have taken, it is saturated liquid line. And here in the HS diagram, the area below this dry saturated curve, is wet region, means the value of x is less than 1. Above, the value of x is more than 1. If you are taking the value of x on this line, is x is equal to, that is 1, that is 100%. Okay, if I say the superheated steam is entering to the turbine, then it starts from this region. If I use the word saturated, only dry saturated steam is entering to the nozzle, it starts from this point. If I use the word wet steam is entering to the nozzle, then the line starts from below, somewhere here. Okay, now we will draw the HS diagram for this convergent divergent nozzle. Now high pressure, low velocity steam is passed to the nozzle. What type of steam will be passing to the nozzle? It is a steam turbines, because steam nozzles will be used in steam turbines. So steam turbines, nothing but steam power plants. Okay, steam power plants, what is the inlet condition is of the steam to the nozzle is superheated steam, which is coming from the boiler. So I will write here superheated. So superheated is high pressure and high temperature, obviously. So this superheated steam is at point number 1, that is at inlet 1. Which one is the superheated region in the HS diagram? Here. Any region out above this curve is superheated region. So I will take point number 1 is here. Point number 1, that is superheated region. So superheated region, when passes through the convergent nozzle, expansion takes place. So due to expansion, enthalpy decreases. Here it is H1, H2. So H2 is less than H1. And what type of expansion process it is? Reversible adiabatic expansion process. Reversible adiabatic expansion is also called isentropic, because I have not considered any friction factor here. So isentropic process. Isentropic process will be represented by vertical line. Now I will draw one vertical line in the HS diagram. So point number 2, when it touches the dry line. So what does it mean? The point number 2 is on dry line, that is a dry saturated line. What does it mean? Here it is only dry steam. The value of x is equal to 1. So in this region, the value of x is more than 1. Okay. Now this dry steam again enters the divergent portion of the nozzle. Okay, again expansion takes place. So due to expansion, again enthalpy drop. See, H1, H2, H3, the enthalpy is gradually decreasing. So again it is a reversible adiabatic expansion, because it is a insulated, heat is not going outside or not he is coming out from surrounding to the system. And isentropic process, same. So 2 to 3 is also isentropic process. So 2 to 3 again here, come to point number 3. So point number 3 is here. The enthalpy at point number 3 is 2 less compared to 1 and 2. This is H3, this is H2, and this is H1. So enthalpy is decreasing gradually, from process starts from 1 to 3. So total expansion in this nozzle, complete nozzle, is H1 minus H3. That is enthalpy drop. So H1 minus H3 is a enthalpy drop in this convergent divergent nozzle. If they ask what is the enthalpy drop between 1 and 2, that is H1 minus H2. This is only in convergent part. If they ask what is the enthalpy drop in diverging part, that is H2 minus H3. Okay, so H1 minus H3 is total enthalpy drop. Okay, so this is how we will represent the process in HS diagram. Okay, so if they ask what is the value of X3, quality of steam at point number 3, here it is not steam, it is a wet steam. When steam is coming outside the nozzle, it is little bit some water percentage. So we will draw one curve It is an example, it is not it is watch as exact values. Okay, here one more, if you take curve, this is one type of curve. Here x is equal to maybe 0.99, that is less than 1. Okay, if you consider one more line here, this may be x is equal to 0.8. okay, similarly if you take the curves on point number 3, here it may be x is equal to 0.75, like that. Okay, so x3 is the quality of steam at point number 3, and x2 is quality of steam at point number 2, and x1 is quality of steam at point number 1. This is how the isentropic process or expansion of steam will represented in Moeller diagram. Okay, that is expansion of steam in the nozzles. Okay, so we will stop here. In the next topic we will discuss the derivation, that is determine the velocity of steam at the exit of the nozzle, and one more topic is we will derive an expression for discharge of a nozzle or pressure ratio, that is critical pressure ratio, and one more topic left is effect of friction in the expansion process in the nozzle. Okay, because all these topics what we have covered today is without considering the friction. So if you consider the friction in the nozzle between fluid and surface of the nozzle, then what type of process, how the value of enthalpy it will be changing, whether enthalpy increasing or decreasing, that we will discuss in the next topic. Okay, thank you so much for watching this video.